Welcome to episode 48 of the Bikini Besties podcast. I'm Lo.
Kaylia.
Stephanie.
And today's topic is when to choose yourself. But before we jump into that, we're going to get into our updates. It has been a minute. For you guys, it'll be like literally week to week for the last episode, but it's been a couple weeks. So we actually owe you guys some updates. And thank you guys for sharing with us about how much you love our updates because we are bringing them back permanently.
They're staying. We won't let them go again.
Yes.
They're staying. We love sharing with you guys too. So we'll start every episode off with some prep updates. And so last episode,
I was in peak week for San Diego Pro. So I did that show March 8th. So now I'm 2 weeks post show. And we did some learning. So I spilled for the first time on stage. So I've been too conditioned. I've been too soft. And then this time I was conditioned. And then I kept eating in terms of carving up. And I ended up spilling. It was a tough thing for me as an athlete to kind of see was happening, if that makes sense. Like as Shane was asking me for, I guess feedback, I think there were things that had I spilled before, I would have noticed. And so like an example would be I found it harder to hold my core. So and I was still holding it the same amount, but for example, my ribs were flaring a little bit more. And when I look back, that should have been a cue that I was filling out too much.
You just didn't know what to look for.
I just didn't know what to look for. Yeah.
And
so I was like, because every time I did my posing, I'm like, I have to remember not to flare my ribs, but it's not something that I normally have to remind myself to do. It's new. Yeah. And I should have, but
Well,
being low.
Real quick, maybe explain what spilling is a little bit.
So
for people who don't know.
Right. So spilling would be when you get to a good conditioned point, but then when you carb up, you kind of almost miss the mark.
Overdo.
Overdo. Yeah,
too many carbs.
Like overdo it.
Too much for your body at that.
Yes. And everybody's different. So I started carbing up on a Tuesday, and we added 25 grams of carbs every day. So I started 100 grams on Tuesday, 125 on Wednesday, 150, and so on and so forth. What I usually do is I'll do like 100 to 150 on the Friday before. And so I think I looked my best on the Thursday, which had been 2 days of carbing up. And then Friday and then Saturday morning-ish, that's when I think we started to spill a little bit more. But it was a learning experience. Some people like eat 300, 400 grams of carbs and they look great. I am not she. So
I've never done that.
There's no Costco muffins, no bread going on here. So I just definitely, I learned, it wasn't fun to learn, if you'd asked me the minute I stepped off stage, I was not the best, but I think we all I always like to kind of feel my emotions and then process things, talk to my husband, talk to my best friends, and talk to my coach, obviously. And so, it was just a journey. And now I'm getting ready for Wasatch in, 5 weeks. So yeah, I'm excited. So this time we are carving up on Friday only.
Going back to the original
yes,
plan.
Going back to the original thing. Nothing's really changed about my prep. I actually have a high day every week, which I didn't have 5 weeks out last time. So
that's nice.
A little bit of change.
Yeah.
Still no bread, but
still no bread, still no muffins.
Yeah, still a little bit of change. But what about you guys? What about you, Lo?
I just want to take a second though. Like I love that when you went to describe like your experience and being post show and everything, the first word was learning.
Yep.
That goes kind of like to your experiences. Like you've had time to process this. Obviously, it's been a couple weeks, and I really appreciate that you view it as a learning experience because you're not someone, you've been through a lot of shows and a lot of experiences, and every single one, even if it's like when you show up your best, there's always ways to tweak and see like how can we do it better.
Yes.
And so if this experience was trying to do it better, and now it's like, okay, that one didn't work, and now back to the drawing board, and we'll figure out where that best is.
Yes.
And so I love that because that's just like inspiring to like be able to like be like, this is the start of my season. I've got more to give. This is going to be better and better, and keep that positive mindset rolling through the entire season. So,
And our last episode definitely was in my head of losing with grace because when I stepped off stage, I wasn't thinking learning. I was thinking losing.
And then it evolved.
It evolved. Yeah, exactly. It evolved. We matured.
took some time, but but even then, like you must have been keeping it in your head because like you were like messaging us and things like that, but like you instantly went to like what happened with this, and you figured out food, water, like all the things that would have caused it versus just like I suck. Like or like
Right.
I think I just saved that for my husband.
That's like the private. That's what we talk about, like that private moment. Like go take the time for your private moment to feel the feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then like when you go to talk to people and when you
Yes.
come to your right mind. So I do want to just like appreciate how much you do have, taken this as a learning experience, work with your coach and move forward in such a positive way.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, with it being like kind of a little bit more local, I can convince you guys to come.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I think I can do it. I think I am. I think I need to hurry and make these decisions, but I need to book my
5 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see. But my update, so it has now been 3.5 weeks of being in prep and with a new coach. So I am with Jamie with Fit Body Fusion, and we have jumped straight into prep when I switched over to her, and we started like a carb cycle. And I think I even mentioned this before, but like this has been, I've told you guys about this. I have never dropped weight at the start of a prep. For me, since 2017, every single prep I've done, or start of prep, I should say, of when I have to go from an improvement season into a prep season, it usually takes me 4 to 6 weeks to like lose a couple pounds. And I want to like point out that that's probably normal for a lot of people because it takes a minute for your body to adjust to like a new plan or like switching directions metabolically. But this year, I just started dropping right away. And I don't think it was water weight of a drop of change of diet because I was being so on point and I didn't have a final meal. I didn't have a final
Man, I'd be
treat.
so bummed.
I know. No Last Supper?
Yeah.
That's like a ritual.
I thought about it and I always usually do that. But like the way things worked out and the decisions I made, I just felt like I had no time to waste.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want to jump into this and I owe this to myself to just like go all in. And I think that's part of the reason where I feel like I've gained really good traction right away. So I didn't have to pull off water from that. And I was so on point that like my body didn't go into a mode of like, oh no, we don't have those calories anymore. It's like, oh, you switched and we're dropping. So 3.5 weeks in and about 4 pounds down. And I'm like, what?
Nice.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Who is this?
That is awesome.
That's so awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And then one of the biggest things about training that's been different is I went back to 3 days a week for glutes and lower body. I was doing 2 days a week before, but previously in that, and like almost all of my bikini career, I've done 3 days a week. And so I'm back to that, and I've been sore.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's good because like I'll bring as much glutes as I can.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like my biggest update is just like the fact that prep is starting off so well. And I don't think it was necessary this year. Like I keep thinking about like why did it start off well? And I think it wasn't just necessarily having the most peak reverse or like the best reverse, because it wasn't necessarily the best. Like I gained weight and I'm not at like stayed very lean, and then that's why it's easy to drop. It was more that I stayed consistent through my improvement season. I was very good at being on point. I wasn't holding water because if I was eating foods I wasn't digesting well. And I didn't have that last meal as much as I like kind of like, dang it. Now it's going to be so long before I get another meal like
The win is better. The win is better.
It's worth it.
Yes.
But it let me start off so well. So like I think like something like it moving forward in the future, if I had started another prep or another cut or something like that, I think maybe giving yourself like a bite or a treat or like a flexible meal, but not going in with an all out like Last Supper.
Yes.
Probably a good way to start things. even just like we talked about how we've grown over time of like having like, oh, after a show, I don't feel like I need to eat everything. I just have a bite of this and a bite of this, and I reverse really well. I think there's like also to be said, like I can start my prep really well if I'm already in tune with being on my macros and being ready to go, so that when I changed the little tiny adjustments we made, it was very effective. So yeah, I think that was just something I've learned with starting prep this year. So I think that's something I wanted to share.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yay. That's so exciting. I'm so excited. Like, we can tell how excited you are about like it probably like helps you just be like even more. I mean, you're already such a driven, intentional person, an athlete and competitor, but you're probably like, I don't know, even more, and like just excited to, I'm imagining, just knowing you, that you're like excited to do your cardio, excited to go do your list because like this prep is going this new way, and you're just like, okay, let's keep this going. Like,
and then it just being new and just having like new everything.
Everything's
it's
new.
just a new protocol.
It just like,
that's exciting.
And just the fact that it feels like it's working.
Well, and it's almost like you'll like embrace, like you're going to be embracing, like, because prep will get hard. Like right now it's the beginning, and it will get hard. Cardio will get up, food will get low, but like it's all new, and you're having this experience you've never had before, so you're just like embracing it. You just bring it on. Like this is
absolutely. I'm like, let's keep it rolling. Let's just keep this momentum, because I can do prep like this.
Yes.
Hold on to it.
Even Anthony made almost the same comment, because you're like, now I know you. Anthony said something with you, just like I think. It might have been this morning or yesterday. I don't know. Time's blurring right now this weekend. But he's made a comment of like, he's like, it's actually really nice that things are going well for you, because I'm so used to when you start prep, like it's frustrating because you are hungry already because you drop your calories, but no changes have happened. And so it's like you have to like endure this period of like, why am I doing this? Like, is it going to work? And so this time he's like, I've noticed a huge difference. You're like, already rolling. You're just going.
And your energy's up, and just things are, just working.
So good start to prep, and I'll take it. And next week I travel. So I'm like, oh shoot, we got to make sure this momentum keeps up. But I have no problem hitting my macros with traveling. So we'll just keep at it, and a lot of cold food.
You're good at it no matter where you are.
A lot of cold food.
Yes.
But so I feel like you've got a big update too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I'm, 3 weeks post show? Yeah, 3 to 4. We're going on 4 weeks. So I did Arnold, did that update. We're in a little reverse-y period right now. We're kind of like just reversing. And until, so I also just recently changed coaches. And so I'm with Drew Brannon at Fit Body Fusion. And so that just happened this past week. And it's been good. I'm excited. Like, it's been really, really good. I mean, the original reason why I went to Drew is that if you guys have listened to this podcast, since it started, I've always talked about like my glutes, and like I struggle to grow these dang glutes. Yes. They grow. Don't get me wrong. They've been growing, but I still they just doing this for how many years I've been doing this, and how hard, like just all the effort. It's like, okay, I got to figure out something. There's still something. There's I've had body mechanic issues and things like that, but Drew really specializes in training. Like he specializes in problem solving training issues, and like figuring out why, not just like, oh, here's how I do programming. It's like, okay, why do you struggle to grow this area of your glute? And like, why are these muscles taking over? And why? And so like, I doing this for so long, and I've always loved the training piece. I mean, I've had personal trainers forever, and I just wanted someone who just, that is their specialty. That's what they're obsessed with, and that they have the experience, the skill set, all the knowledge to like help me problem solve my glutes
and be
right?
as effective
as and I've mentioned this is my last like serious competitive year competing, and we'll see what happens after a few years being off, if I come back and do it again or anything. But I'm looking at this as like my final kind of main open competitive year. And so with that being said, I really just wanted to make sure I like pulled out all the stops, and like I can look back no matter what happens, pro card or not, that like I did everything. I checked literally all of the boxes. And because in my head right now, I really can't think of, after, choosing to go with Drew, and, we'll see where this year goes. But like, I don't think there's anything else I could do. I don't think, like, I think after this, there's not like, a different coach or a different, I don't know. I don't
Like
think
within your control kind
within
of
my
thing.
control. Yes.
Yeah.
Within my control. And so I'll be able to end this year just like, okay,
it all you
no matter
got.
what, I did everything I could.
Left it all on the stage.
Yes, left it all on the stage and in that dang glute room. But yeah, so I'm really excited. I mean, we're reversing. So, and my body is responding very well. Like, I'm not gonna lie. For the last couple of weeks, I had a lot of free eating, and we're doing okay. And now we've reined that free eating in. And so now I've been tracking 100% for a week. No, since Tuesday. Whenever I started with Drew, whatever, Monday, I don't know, whatever day it was. So a week now almost, and 100% tracking. We took away any free eating just to kind of make sure things are under control. We're really trying to work my calories up as high as I can before it's time to start cutting for whatever show we decide to do, whatever national show we go into for the rest of the year. And so, yeah, we're just trying to stay within a good body composition. So I got down to like 118 for Arnold, and they told me I was too hard, so I probably needed to be 119 to 120. And so really I'm only 1 to 2 pounds away from that right now. So we're good. So we're just going to keep, we're definitely trying to get over 2,000 calories. I'm at like 1725 right now. And I dropped weight again. So we're probably going to be seeing that 2,000, and honestly, it might be this next update. So we're eating good. We're only doing like, the way he does cardio, it's less of a heart rate. So I'm only doing 20 minutes, 5 days a week. And we're going to, he really likes to, I guess, try to get down to like no cardio, and in improvement seasons and reverses. And, I'm not really like having to pay attention to steps. I'm just like moving. And then, cardio's like just lists. So it's just heart rate is like 110 to 115. Yeah, it's been good. So I'm kind of just chilling and enjoying. My focus is training. So I went down to Arizona where he is at and did a 2-day in-person evaluation, I guess is what it is. And so he puts you through like some physical therapy tests and stuff, and then watches you train, and then takes that information and designs the training program. And so, yeah, I'm having to like record the top set of every single exercise of every lift right now, and then send him videos, and then he replies with feedback, and then he'll tell you when you no longer have to send that one, you're good, and stuff like that. So just really trying to dial in training, and nice. I have learned some things, so I'm excited. like just how your prep is like, you've been dropping weight from the beginning, and like you're all excited. Like we have figured out some cues for my glutes that I have never figured out before, and I'm feeling it, and I'm so excited. So I'm like awesome. So excited to train now, because I'm like, like the whole prep and prime he does. Oh, that helps. And so I'm just excited. That's awesome. I'm just really excited. And we'll see where it goes.
I just love all of us are like learning.
Yes, learning.
Right?
We're just you can never like, that's the thing. You can never learn too much. There's never like an end point to this learning. Like there's always more. There's always something.
So much to learn.
So much.
Love-hate relationship with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it, but I'm kind of, stepping off stage that one time. I could have done with less learning.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But it's great that we all have the ability to realize, like, because like you get to a level where people will consider you an expert compared to them, but we all sit in the place of like we have so much to learn,
to figure out.
Yes. And the reason, and that's how we keep improving.
Yeah.
And that's how like year over year and year over year, we're athletes that have all achieved big goals and done things and like grown and like become better and better athletes, is because we have, all three of us, sat in a spot of like, the episode that you had us do is studying the sport and being a student of the sport. Like we're literally just learning, like, how do we make things better for ourselves? And and I am so excited that you're choosing to really, really figure out what any missing piece could be, because it's like, we all believe in you, you believe in you, and it's like,
there's got to be something.
And it's that whole like no stone unturned, like type of like that mentality of like, I am so proud of you, like knowing that you're going to give it your all no matter what it is. And it's like, you could sit there and just kind of be like, well, we're just going to keep at it and just tell that time be the thing. And it's like, there's the part where you take initiative and be like,
Take
okay, well,
action.
what can I do to choose myself?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
This is her
Good
episode
stuff.
of the one-liners.
This is,
Lauren's.
yeah.
It's Lauren's time.
But seriously, I mean, that's kind of even how we like came up with
Yep.
today's topic about choosing yourself. Because we've all gone through a lot of different experiences, athletes over the years, and recently, like us making coaching changes, and even you like becoming a coach and having like athletes being in prep this year and things like that. Like we've really had to choose like priorities on certain things. And so we've had a lot of deep conversations. Even before this podcast, we talked for like an hour and a half. We're like, oh, we should probably record
we
now.
should actually.
Because we're bouncing things off of each other and like realizing like kind of like how we're doing this for ourselves. And so I think we're going to start kind of like our topic off of like with, if you're done with your updates, sorry.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. We're ready to roll.
I think we want to start this topic off with kind of like us, like our definitions of like what it means to choose yourself. And I think from more than just a prep standpoint, but like just like as a person
In
like,
life.
in life, what does it mean to choose yourself?
I feel voluntold.
We all looked at Steph.
I know. I'm like,
That's like I was not ready.
I was
for
not
that.
prepared. What does it feel like to choose yourself?
Yeah, just like personally.
I think like, okay, one thing, I'll can I take
Yes,
it? Can
absolutely.
I? Okay. She's like, no, I don't have this isn't fully thought out. I'm winging this a little bit, but it's a feeling. I think it's like making decisions for me, and this is kind of like a mantra for this year for me, but just through life stuff, is like what makes me feel calm inside, calm and happy. And so like, to me, what choosing yourself is, it's not being selfish. That's not, it's not, some people may be like, well, that's selfish. No, it's making decisions where I feel like I'm showing up as me, as a good person, and I'm calm and I'm happy. And nothing like, and doing things that like are best, not just it's best for me to then be the best for everyone else around me and my people. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would add on to it that it's usually in the past, I would say it can sometimes be disguised as a difficult decision or an uncomfortable decision. But I think it's usually the decision that aligns with your values.
Yes,
like your
that's
true
good. Yep.
self.
and it brings you that peace.
Yes, which
Peace.
what leads to that peace.
That calm and
yes.
peace. Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually. It doesn't know.
Here,
as
we'll
I said,
collaborate on this definition.
disguised, right? It is definitely hard sometimes. It definitely is hard.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like you almost even like doubt, like, is this choosing myself or is this being selfish? And so you kind of have to like sit there and evaluate that, like what part of this is like when it comes down to it, like this is your life. Like if you sit there and like put off like your dream or your career or like something that you've really wanted to do down deep inside because you're trying to protect someone else's feelings that you think they might have, like even without asking them, you're like limiting yourself. And it's like you only have like you don't get this time back.
Yeah, it's a big one. You don't get time
You
back.
don't get time back.
Yeah.
If you're constantly giving and like not
Receiving.
giving to yourself,
Yeah.
it's-
And when you authentically show up better for yourself, like you were saying, it helps the people around you. So instead of like limiting yourself because you think that you're trying to help other people or give to other people, it's becoming a better version of yourself so that you can give to other people. It's like filling your glass first. So you have to have something in your glass to fill others with.
Yep, 100%.
Otherwise, you're just going to be empty and you're going to feel like you're unfulfilled.
And not
lacking
only that,
purpose.
sometimes that even leads to resentment.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
different ways. And then it becomes a muddled situation because those people didn't ask for you to care about their feelings. And then, whose fault is it really? So I think it sometimes gets really muddy. So it's really good to, like you said, sit with everything, kind of see the pros and cons, weigh the pros and cons, and see what avenue, not only works best for you, but like I said, like aligns with your values and gets you closer to whatever goal or person you want to be, or fitness, anything that just basically gets you closer to that goal.
Yeah, I think those are really good definitions. And I think like just like a few examples, we were kind of brainstorming before. of like where someone might need to choose themselves. And maybe it could be something, I mean, if we want to go like outside of bodybuilding, like let's say you have a career that you're passionate about, something that you want to do, but maybe that means you have to go back to school and have less income. But it's something that long term is going to make you be more fulfilled and be something that has income in the future. Like it might be worth it to choose yourself and be like, sorry, maybe my partner or like someone else in my life might have to like help pay bills because I'm choosing to further my education for this goal. And that might be, like where you have to choose kind of like, is this going to be something long term and make me have a better life long term? Because like you said, it can be an uncomfortable decision or something that's like has to feel like a hard decision because you feel like you have to make a choice.
I think usually it almost is when I'm thinking back to like
It's
times,
almost always, yeah.
like when I've had to choose myself, I think it's almost always been uncomfortable
because we want to be
extent.
people. Well, not want to be, but like we
love peace.
We don't want
Harmony.
conflict.
Yes,
like,
harmony.
yes. And so, and like, and I definitely have been like a people pleaser. Like you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't want to deal with awkward situations and you don't want to come off selfish.
Yes.
And so it's this like fine line of like, choosing yourself in a like genuine, honest way or like doing things that, coming off selfish. And so it's kind of just easier to like go along, like, right?
It is. It absolutely
like, it's
is.
so much easier. It's so much harder to like have those conversations.
In the short term, it's easier.
Yes. In the short term.
In the long term, it's harder.
Yeah.
And I found that me personally, I almost make a decision sometimes where I choose the hard thing because I prefer it hard short term and easier long term than the other way around in most things. I have a tattoo that says protect your energy because of this whole situation. Because I've had like, multiple things where I haven't protected my energy and it doesn't feel good in the end. I'm trying to think of another example.
I used to be, I'm not going to give specifics, but like it could, I've had to choose myself in regards to friends.
Yeah.
Circles that I choose to be around and people that I choose to have in my circle and associate myself with. And that's choosing yourself. Like it's easier to just not have that conflict, to not make other people feel awkward, to be involved in certain things that are going on. It's easier to do that. It's harder to step away and, whatever. But I'm choosing my peak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot that choosing yourself can happen with like friends that you're around, like circles, that are
partners.
Partners. Like it could be, it's like that. And so,
even rooms you're in.
Even
rooms you're in. Do you want to talk about one maybe that's closer to bodybuilding?
Well, I think a lot of times like people classify bodybuilding as selfish because it is about you. It is about your journey. And it is about like, it's like a lot of times like maybe you don't go to things because you're choosing to do this bodybuilding thing. You're choosing to prep. You're choosing to do something and people are like, oh, it's so selfish of you. But it's not selfish. You have a goal that you set to do. And you're choosing something that you have set out to do. You've chosen your journey. And then a lot of people have different whys that they're doing prep and why they're doing bodybuilding. So it's not because they're trying to take away from somebody else's life or be selfish. Like none of us chose bodybuilding to be selfish.
Right.
We had a lot greater whys than that. And so I think like choosing yourself in like a bodybuilding standpoint, like we can go into just even some simple examples. I think we were talking before this about like a health example, like if someone had a health issue.
Yeah.
Like,
I've had a friend that had a health issue. And so, one of the things that she first said to me was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to gain weight because I can't eat the foods that I'm used to eating. And being a doctor, I'm like, what? Like, why are we even talking about your diet and gaining weight? Who cares? Like, we have to take care of your body and your health first. Like you only have one body. And so, but I think sometimes it's easier to see that looking in as opposed to being in that situation because it's uncomfortable, right? To kind of choose yourself, like we said.
Yeah. Where that person had to choose health over bodybuilding. That's like the point of like choosing yourself to like step away from a prep. Step away from bodybuilding is okay because you're choosing your long-term health over a hobby.
Yeah.
Like this hobby is not your identity. It's not who you are. It's just a part of something that we all get to choose to do, and it's fun and it's cool and it's challenging and it's neat and it's great goals. But like at some point, sometimes you might have to choose yourself to take care of your health. And health also could be your finances too. So like you might have to step away from prep because financially it's hurting you. Like there is no point to go in debt for this hobby. Like I don't care if it's like super cool or like you're just like, but I need to do this for like some sort of self-achievement. It's like, don't put yourself in a spot where it's going to hurt later. Like you need to be like financially healthy to do this. You don't need to be wealthy by any means. Like there's ways to like make this affordable in ways, but like if it's going to hurt you or your family financially, like,
I think we said that before too with bodybuilding being a positive addition to your life and not taking away. And I think that looks different at different stages in your life. But it's just something you should constantly be evaluating, especially if you've like, you know, either been in a negative mood or feeling like not yourself for a little while. Maybe that's a point where you kind of, like assess.
Right. Assess. Yes. Is this the right time for me to be doing this?
Yeah.
Like,
And what is truly driving this little mood, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it can be an exciting thing to make a choice of choosing yourself to step away from bodybuilding. Like life changes. Like, like I know next year in 2026, I won't be competing because I'm getting married. How freaking exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm so stoked.
Yes.
Like we're choosing to do like a family, like a life, like we're like choosing our little family next year. Like we're so excited to like do all these things, and we're going to travel for a honeymoon, and we're going to do these things that we just like bodybuilding doesn't allow us to do it because we want to be all in when we're doing bodybuilding.
Right.
And so like we're so excited to choose that adventure. And that's choosing ourselves over bodybuilding there, and I'm stoked about it. It's a positive reason to like take a break or step away for a season, or however, whatever happens, you never know in life. But I'm excited to choose our little family and getting married over bodybuilding at that point. Like that's like, and that's part of the reason like I changed the timeline of my prep this year is like I knew we talked, we had a heart to heart like, is bodybuilding really that important? Like that we're going to put off our life, our wedding?
I want to add a complexity to that though. Do you think, I know obviously overall, like I'm not saying that it's not, but do you think along the way you might have days where you might be like, I miss it, or like, not that, please Anthony, never think that I'm thinking like, actually choose bodybuilding over getting married, but just like, where like along the way it might not be, I chose this is great. You might have days where you're like, I miss,
Yeah, honestly, when we first talked about it, I was like, well, of course I'm going to choose us over bodybuilding. And like, we're getting married then, and we're going to take a break. And it was like, it made sense to agree to it. But then like, probably a week or two later, I was like thinking by myself, and I like started getting really emotional and crying because since 2017, this has been what I've chosen and been my life. Like I was choosing was to do this. It was something I really wanted to do in life. And so it felt like I was like giving up part of that. And so it took a while to kind of like shift my perspective to be excited that is still choosing myself. I'm choosing myself now doing this prep, and I'm choosing myself then to have that little time for us.
But that's that little assessment thing that we were talking about too, where you kind of like rein in the emotions, like thought about like the whole big picture, and then kind of,
where are they coming from? Why? And then,
which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Sitting with your feelings.
It's
so
hard.
much fun.
So much fun.
I love my feelings.
Well, that's like talking about, like, I mean, we've all talked about how this is kind of like a big year for us, like in the competing, like it's kind of
all three of us,
monumental,
and coincidentally, we did not plan
we did
together.
But like,
no, it's so weird. Stop copying me.
I was like, wait, you too? Take it. You
too. It's funny. But I did the same, like, different like reasons, but more family stuff, like, and chose the same thing, and it chose that like I always told myself like I want to walk away or take a break from bodybuilding before I like end up like hating it or not having fun anymore or whatever. And I kind of started to get there. I actually like, last year before I started this prep, I kind of started to be like, I'm just ready for a break. Like I'm just ready to like, just live a little differently. And so I was like, okay, so I made a plan. It was like, we're going to do this. This is the last serious competitive year. I'm choosing this for myself, for my family, and then get excited about like, what are the things that we're going to focus on? There's like some financial stuff that we really are excited about that we want to do, but right now we're spending like a lot of money is going to traveling and competing. And so we want to have those funds to do the plans that we have. And then like, looking at relocating and just different exciting adventures. And so, we're like, okay, but I did after actually Arnold, how you said you got emotional?
Yeah.
After Arnold, when I competed, I was like, do I want to be done? I like had a moment of like, am I going to like have those moments next year when I am doing the fun, like all the life things I'm excited about, but look back and be like, but I missed this. And like, that was what I did for the past 9 years. Like I did this for 9 years. And like, it's such a weird feeling to be like, oh, this is the last year. And this year goes by fast.
Yes.
And like, and so then I had to remind myself of like, what I am excited for. And like, I am, I don't know. And so, it was a weird back and forth. And I think there will be those like doubt days, like those days where going in 2026, 2027, and we're looking back and it's like, oh, I kind of want to compete again. But it's like, but also I really love being able to like go on vacation and, live in my new house. So I don't know, like whatever.
I kind of did the opposite thing after I got off stage at San Diego. I was thinking like, am I making the right choice by stepping away from the stage? Did I give myself too little time? Oh my God, like this didn't start out the way that I wanted it to. And like maybe because my biggest fear is not me not feeling, not anybody else, me not feeling like I reached my potential. That would crush me because if, it would make it, okay, it wouldn't crush me. It would make it very hard for me to step away easily.
With that positive outlook in mindset.
Yes, exactly. And so, it was kind of funny because Zach trying to be supportive and things was like, oh, but he wasn't thinking long term, but he's like, well, you could do a couple shows at the beginning of 2027. And I'm like, but then it's going to go all the way to the end of 2027. But just knowing that, like, I also have that person that will, support you through making those decisions and kind of going back and forth and playing devil's advocate because sometimes it's like all in your head and you just kind of get
this whirlwind of
oh my gosh, I get confused. I'm like, who's talking?
Yes, who's talking? Right? Which one do I listen to?
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
Oh, continue on.
Oh, I was literally going to kind of change. I was like, well, okay.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
What were we going to change?
I was just thinking that like we just kind of gave quite a few examples of like reasons that we'd step away. And I think there's also really good positive reasons of where, competing, you are like choosing yourself and like why maybe competing is something that is a reason like we felt like we were choosing ourselves to compete and like during competing how we choose ourselves. Because I know like I wish so badly I would have started competing when I first wanted to start competing. Like I looked up photos. I took my first check-in photos to send as a consult to a coach 2 years before I ever started my first prep.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
And I was in an unhealthy relationship and I didn't really realize how unhealthy it was until later. And I did this because I was like, this is cool. I'm going to try this out. And I took the pictures. I emailed the coach and I was like, going to do a consult. And then I went and I told my partner and they were like, absolutely not. You can go to the gym and you can get in shape if you want, but absolutely not. I am not okay with you being on stage. And at the time I was like, okay, I see why, like maybe a partner isn't okay with you being in a sparkly bikini. His words were like bending over on stage, like, stripper vibes there. Like he's got stripper shoes basically. Yeah. So like I can see that and I can see where other partners may be hesitant or and stuff like that, not being able to see the objectiveness of bodybuilding versus sexualizing it and things like that too. And so like at the time, like I was like, okay, that's fine. But I like I gave up on it then. I was like, I'm just never going to be able to do that. And because I felt that, I didn't even go to the gym. I was like, I just like gave up on even trying because of them shutting down, where I wish I would have maybe done more research on it so I could explain to them why I wanted to do it. I wish I would have started building more muscle, more glutes at the time. Because imagine 2 more years of glute building, right?
Right. Never enough.
And then like when that situation separated, it was crazy. I literally, like, to deal with like my emotions, started working out because I loved it.
That's so funny. You're like, that's how I fix my feelings.
And I loved it. And that's where like I didn't reach right back out to that coach and like jump into a prep, but I like started going to the gym and getting in shape. I looked up bodybuilding programs and I like worked really hard. And then I started my first prep, like I think about a year later, half a year later. But that's where like I felt like I didn't really choose myself in like getting into the shape I wanted to, because even if I like didn't get onto stage because of that scenario, or maybe respecting my partner's, not wanting that, I didn't do what I wanted to like get in shape. Like I liked that these women were dedicated and disciplined and going to the gym. And that's what I liked first about it. That's right when I went to, when I had that opportunity, that freedom. And so like for some people, like getting on stage for the first time is a transformation. It's reaching a goal physically that they've never been to, getting the leanest they've ever been in your life. And that first time you're super lean and see your abs is super cool.
It's so cool.
You're like I can't stop looking at them.
Yeah.
What are these?
And so like that's where I felt like, you learn to choose yourself. And from there on, like I knew confidently, like no matter what relationship I was in, no matter what, like I like this is what I would do and this is what I want to do because I'm choosing this for myself. Like it didn't matter.
Makes me feel good.
Like if someone, I was with someone who competed or didn't compete. I'm grateful I ended up with someone who does, because it's super fun to share it with them. But like, I know confidently, even if I wasn't with Anthony, we wouldn't be, I wouldn't have like wavered from choosing this goal. Like it's still my personal goal and like what I choose to do for myself. It has nothing to do with if he was in prep or not. Like he's not prepping this year, didn't change my plans. Like he could prep this year and my plans would be the same because it's something I choose and I love doing. So yeah, that was an example of choosing it for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
So just on like the perspective of like when you were talking about like the old relationship and whatnot, like that situation, like a part of me, I feel like I have gone through a transformation in myself, in my head, because when I first started being around you guys, like at Old Mecca, it was like 100% that mentality. I was like naive in my head, right? And so, but like to me, I feel like it takes like a mindset to like kind of shift your way through like what
To navigate.
Yeah, exactly. Like you definitely need to like. It's not even like you could say like the easy way of saying it's like maturity or whatever, like right. But like I think a big part of it is just like kind of growing up.
Growing and evolving, yeah.
You're like, oh right, these people are like athletes. Like I never refer to you guys as like anything other than athletes. And like all my friends who are outside of bodybuilding or anything else is like 100% not. Like that's not their first indication.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like a great perspective of being like, hey, like, no, you guys are athletes. Like no different than me lifting weights is no different than you guys on stage. Like,
Yeah,
No,
it's just an evolution of how you think things through. And if it's like, if that's something, if like stepping on stage for the first time is your goal, like that's so cool. Go for it.
Because maybe it's to like build
cares about others'
confidence.
opinions?
Like it's not even like a for how you look thing, but like it could be someone who just struggles with like confidence, period. Like they struggle to talk in a room. And so this is like a way to, it's building what bodybuilding does, the sport, and doing it. If you do it like in a healthy, positive way, it really builds, I think it can build your character, and it builds, it strengthens, it either teaches you skill sets that you didn't have before or strengthens ones. And so like, I've worked with a lot of girls who they're just, they want to just practice that skill set, like practice confidence and it strengthen that and within them. And so this is an example of it. Like, and it's to like, so they're choosing to do this hard thing, to show themselves, to show up as a certain way, do all these things, and like to show themselves they can do it. And then they can get on stage, and it's scary, but like, and then once they do it, they're like, I did that. Like that fear, like I did that. Now I have this newfound confidence that I can do other things, not just get on stage again, or not just continue bodybuilding. Maybe they never do bodybuilding again, but maybe they go get a job. They were terrified, change careers. Maybe they, I don't know. And so, it's, everyone has like different whys and stuff, but I don't know.
I think that one thing that bodybuilding, for anyone, I think that throughout anyone's prep, you're constantly, if not daily, at least weekly, putting yourself into uncomfortable situations, right? Like there's like even as simple as like, I don't like doing cardio at night. And there are those days, I know you always laugh.
I have cardio tonight.
Yeah, exactly, right? But when you choose to get on that treadmill when you don't really want to, like it's the uncomfortable choice.
Yeah.
But like you
show
do
yourself
it,
you
and
can
then
do
you
it.
do it again, and then you do it again. And then, like you said, you build that confidence that you can do hard things, like we always say.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Right?
I think so. Kind of what started this topic, though, I think was like where we came up with this was like changing coaches and making that decision, because it's not just changing coaches, but it's making the decision, like the hard, uncomfortable decision, having to have a hard, uncomfortable conversation. It's those hard things, getting uncomfortable and navigating that. That's best for you. And I think maybe our listeners might be. Because a lot of people have talked to us about like we've all made coaching changes. It is something you probably either will do at some point in your career and competing. And so like, I mean, and we've probably I think we've had some episodes where we've talked about navigating, like changing coaches and stuff, but like, I guess maybe making the decision why, like in different scenarios for us of why we made the change for ourselves. Like it wasn't, you know, I can like kind of start it and say like, this is my last year, like serious year. And I didn't want to end this year with like any regret, any like wonder. I didn't want to look back because like I don't know if I will get a pro card. It's not an easy thing to get. and it's very real that I could walk away from this year and not have it. And so like but I want to look back and be like, well, for me, I did everything I could. You know, I did everything. I checked all the boxes. I tapped into all the resources. And so, you know, that's kind of like, and that's a choice for myself. That's
your why.
That's my
your
why.
Motivation.
That's my motivation. It's an inner thing in me that like, I need this. I needed to make that change, or make that decision, to walk away from this sport good, clear, like happy, positive, excited, like grateful, just like all that.
It's similar to me wanting to reach that it's like you
full
just
potential.
leave everything
out there.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
There's no wonder, there's no what if, there's nothing that you.
Well, there's not even like negative. It's not even like there's no negatives. There's no drama. There's no nothing. It's literally just like what I need for my life. Like we have all invested so many years into the sport, like many of us do that do this seriously and really competitively. We have invested years, money, time away from loved ones, just everything, every decision we make. And it's like you invest so much of you into it, and so much of like your spouse, like their time and their love and their money, money, just resources into it, that like you have to make these decisions. It's like we said earlier, it's easier to stay in, to not have the hard conversation, to like just not make the decision because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings or make things, you know, awkward or weird.
Not rock the boat.
Not rock the boat. There we go. Perfect. Yes. And it's easier to do that. But if I would have done that, like in my situation, could have ended the year. And what if, you know, even if I did get the pro card though, like, I don't know, like where could it's the potential thing. It's the potential. And so I really feel like at the end of this year, I will have maxed out my potential. I don't know. Like
you exhausted all
my options, exhausted all my resources, and
And that's where I think
And
like
that puts you at peace.
Yeah, put me in
Sometimes-
peace. I'll go into live season, eat yummy food,
Yes.
and yeah,
Yes.
vacation.
Yes.
and,
Loving the doggos.
yes.
I think sometimes from an outside perspective, it's too easy for people to instantly go to this spot of like they see like a coaching change and they're like,
Assume.
what happened? What's wrong? What did that
Yeah,
coach do? Are they bad?
Nothing.
Should I not be with them?
Right.
And it's like, no, that
Not at
is
all.
not it. Like the reason that there's so many more reasons to change a coach than like drama or negativity or something wrong.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's more like a choosing like yourself in a way of like, I need this for me. I need this for my type of communication, or I need this for my type of training, or I need this for my journey, because you only have this one journey. And you only maybe have a limited time. Like all of us have kind of put a time limit on kind of like this season for ourselves, just for so many various reasons. And it's like at some point it's kind of like we're choosing to make changes to make the most of the situation, to make the most of our last seasons or our this current season, because we're not going to say last.
Yes.
To make
that's
it
too
of this
heartbreaking,
season.
I'm not ready for those final words.
No, that's tears.
Correction of this season before, we shift some priorities temporarily or whatever. We'll say it that way. But anyway, it's like we have learned, like, if like, let's say like a food isn't working for you, you're going to change that to try other foods to see what's going to digest most optimally for you.
Right.
If this training plan, you didn't grow glutes, you're going to find a new training plan that grows glutes. It's
Yeah.
not because that training plan is bad. That wine training plan
Right.
might be so perfect,
So perfect for someone else. Yes.
Yeah. Or even like a communication style with a coach. I was talking to a friend who was like, I just am not clicking. And I was like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like that person might get along really well with a lot of other people,
Yep.
but it just might not be your personality. Like, let's find someone who is more educational for you, who is going to have that back and forth collaboration style with you or something different. Because ultimately you're going to get so much more out of that change because you chose to follow what is best
What you
inside
need.
for you.
I want to add to that point too. Not only would it be like kind of black and white of you choosing something that's wrong for you versus right for you, it also could be that it aligned for you at one point in time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now after a year or after 2 years or whatever, it no longer
Aligns with-
right?
with
And
the phase you're in, with-
exactly. And so I think out of the three of us, I'm the coach hopper out of the three of us. I think I've
I
had
don't
like
think so.
5, maybe.
I think I'm on like
I
5
think
as
I've
well.
have you had 5? Okay,
Like
maybe
3.
I'm not. Okay, yeah, you're at 3. I think
But it's
Add
like,
one-
I think I'm at 5.
but it's because like it's like that coaching experience served that part of my
Yes.
life, and it served that part of my journey, and I am
Yes.
grateful for that part of my journey.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
I wouldn't be here if I didn't have those
Absolutely.
people in my life at those parts of my journey.
yeah.
One thing I did when I won my pro card is I tagged every coach that I've ever had because
I
I
love
felt
that.
like they have all added to this, even though it wasn't just that current coach. It was years ago. It was even the coach that got me into it, sparked my interest in it. Just so that they all knew, that, well, one, like I made it. Right. But also just to know that they were all a part of that journey.
They were.
And what made, like any coach that I've ever stepped away from, I've always been so grateful to the ones that I'm able to still talk to or are, still somewhat invested in my journey in
Cheering
the
for
way
you.
that they are, they're happy for what I've accomplished, whether it's with them or not.
Right.
I think that makes a good coach. I also think that, every year you should always be assessing, whether or not this coach or just in general in your prep, like what things can you improve on, what things no longer align with you. And I don't think you owe anyone anything for saying that this no longer aligns. It doesn't mean that they're bad. Like you said, there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
drama. There's nothing negative.
Yeah.
It's just that you no longer align with my goals. I know after I won my pro card, I switched coaches because the coach that I had never accomplished what I wanted to accomplish on the pro stage. And so, when I had that conversation, it to me, it was very black and white. Like, I want someone to lead me here. You have never been here. So
I need
someone who has been here, because I need someone to lead, because I've never been.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I need someone to show me the way. Like, how do we get there? Like,
Exactly. And so I felt silly having someone like the blind leading the blind. Like,
Yeah.
we've never, I think it can sometimes get misconstrued. Like, I think sometimes people can try to add personal things
Yes.
into it.
well, you
And
brought up to us like the loyalty member.
Yes.
Yeah.
the-
Yes.
That's where I was,
This
I
is
was
going.
literally
Yeah.
just-
This
yeah,
is.
and so one of my biggest pet peeves is hearing, you're not being a loyal athlete. You're not, remember,
Has
what I
nothing to do
did
with
for you,
loyalty.
blah, blah, blah. My answer to that is I'm being loyal to myself
Yes.
first.
Yeah.
Like that other part, that other piece, doesn't matter if I'm choosing to be loyal to myself, my heart, my family, my gut, who I am. That's who I'm choosing to be loyal to first. I don't really see a, argument to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
your
so-
time on this planet. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
That's
you
so
know,
well
it's-
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because like it really is. It's like being loyal to yourself. That I didn't like. I'm so glad you said that, because that like it really defines kind of like what I was trying to think of how to say. Because I think we get caught up in like, I always want to be like maybe to a coach or a relationship with someone I'm working with. It's like that. Like I'm like, oh, I am a loyal person, because I am.
Yeah. We all want to be seen in a positive way.
Yes. I don't want anyone to hate me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't
But
want
then
anyone
think
to like
about
me
like,
and like
other people, but
not
then think
respect
about
me.
how you see you.
Yes.
Right? I feel like that's the most important. That's where it gets lost.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like your future self. Like if you should
Yeah.
look for anything or want anything, it's to always make your future self like more proud.
Proud of you.
Your future self is watching. Do things that are going to make that person proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just know in your heart, like when it's time to change something, choose something, do something, or maybe there's things that like don't sit right with you and you just have to do research and then it feels right because you know more.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need to be more educated on a situation. Not to be even like vague about it, but just like something like maybe I was just thinking like a protocol, or like something like if your coach told you to do something you've never done before, like a new exercise in a training plan, you're going to be like, okay, but what, why? And so it's like, and maybe like it's a health thing. Like they tell you to eat a certain food and you're like, that's not going to work for me. I don't think that eating that, I've never heard of that. I don't know if it's good for me. Like I choose to do stuff that makes me feel good. I'd prefer not to eat that because it's processed. I don't want whey protein. I prefer whole foods. Like there's like things like choosing your own personal health, like on a different level. I don't know if I'm like saying that right or like veering too far from, I really think the core of it was like being loyal to yourself there. But I think like there's just certain things like just choosing what feels right for you on all little aspects, even if it's something as, I think at the point I was trying to get to is something as little as like if you choose the way you choose to eat, just because you see other people eat a certain type of meal doesn't mean that you need to eat it that way. Like I feel better when I eat certain things. I'm choosing that from the way I do my prep.
I have no problem doing that. I'm like, yuck.
I'm not doing that.
Picky eater over here.
Yeah.
But no, that's true.
But there's just like a lot of different levels to it. There can be a big thing, like a coach change is huge. It's a big change and a commitment and a relationship with another person.
And it's hard. Like, it's like, especially if you have like a great relationship with that coach and like, cause that's, I think a lot of times, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I hear and being like opposing coach and just in the industry now for a long time, a lot of times people change coaches because like something went wrong. Like there was a bad thing that at least that's what you hear. And I think it's because it's like, it's more fun to talk about the negative. It's more dramatic. It's a story.
Guess what he did? Guess what
Yeah.
she did?
It's like, but like sometimes also it's just like, you needed a certain specialty. You needed whatever aligns better with your current goals and the timeline you're on. Like, to be honest with me, I'm like, I got like what, 8 months? Like I'm at the end of this year is coming up fast. Like I don't have time to mess around. Growing muscle is hard to do. Like, it's just, there's other like factors that make those decisions that have nothing to do with negativity or drama or something going wrong, like wrong. Just different. Like you just have different needs, but I don't know.
And I think it's definitely a hard decision, whether it's small or big.
Yeah.
But I do think it is another thing that helps build your confidence, because when you choose yourself and it works out, however that looks, right? It's easier to do it again.
Yeah.
Because you've been down this road. Oh, you're like, oh
And
yeah,
you
this is
know-
that discomfort part, but it's good on the other side.
And you know the process of making that decision.
Yes.
You build the skill set, like you just get experience in that process to make those decisions, those uncomfortable decisions again. And so that way when you get into that situation, it's not like, oh, what is this feeling? What do I do? Like, am I, no, you're like, no, I've done this before. Here's my process for it. Here's my rationale. Here's my,
Makes it process.
Because there's
smoother.
tons of things, that make you second guess, or make you think maybe you didn't make the right decision. Or maybe, let's go back to the coaching thing. Maybe like somebody goes to that same coach and they have the best prep ever, win their pro card, win a first pro show, and they're just like an Olympian, and you're like, oh shit. Right? But just to have the confidence to know that even if, you stayed with that just wasn't the way you wanted to do things.
Right.
Or the way you wanted to win.
Right.
Right. So it just always kind of, I don't know. I just think it has to kind of jive with your inner you.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
And not
don't please anyone else. Don't try to, and like, don't, so I guess something like, even I'll be truly honest, is like, we've got the podcast, we've got social media, and there's people watching, and this is just an internal thing. That's something that, and you sit there and you worry about like, well, what are other people going to think?
You went right where I was thinking about
okay.
going. Like literally, that's exactly what I was just like thinking about.
You worry, and that does kind of it can creep into the decision making, but you have to that doesn't matter. This is for you and your decision. You can't sit there and think and wonder and let that play into your decision or factor.
How did you
into your
guys
decision.
let that part go? Like when you were switching coaches, because it was most recent for you.
So that's a
Really good question.
Really good topic.
I might not have an answer.
Yeah, you're like, I haven't let it
I
go
might
yet.
still be figuring that out. I don't.
Yeah, like
We're gonna have a therapy session on this podcast.
And how does that help you? How does that feel?
How does it make you feel?
I feel like I'm still dealing with that. Like by the time this episode comes out, I'll most likely have said something on my Instagram, on my personal social media platforms. But I still have not. I mean,
I have a good answer.
I have not tagged Jamie. I have not posted anything yet.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm hiding anything or I'm worried about it. I'm just in a place of focus and protecting my little piece. And it's not because I'm worried about, a part of me, I guess, could say I'm worried about some negativity.
You've got a lot of other life things going on, though.
I do.
So it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm putting
I do,
words in
though.
here, but I'm imagining, if I was you in your situation, I'd be like, I don't have the time for that energy right now. My brain is trying to figure out new job and new
and even the positive comments, sometimes it's just
It's
a
a
lot
lot.
of attention on a choice I made for myself that I'm confident in. And I know I made the right choice. I feel at peace with it. I'm happy with it. And there's just no reason to bring other people's energy, positive or negative, into it yet.
Yeah.
It will happen, and I'm just going to let it gradually.
When you've got the space for it.
And I'm happy to share here with this because I feel like we can have a little bit more in-depth and explanation than an Instagram post and tagging and sharing it and screenshots.
The quick comments.
Oh yeah.
All the drama. Reddit. And it's even if it's people are excited for you or happy for you and stuff. I just was when I first switched, I was not in a place to want to just even explain
Attention,
myself
eyes,
or
yeah, no.
attention on it. I'm I just want this for me.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Yeah.
And then by the time I've processed, people will ask me oh yeah, I've already changed a while ago. Where have you been? And so it's I think I have to deal with that, not letting other people's feelings. You made the comment coach hopping, and it's the only reason you would ever say that, because that's not something you would label yourself.
No.
But it's something that you've seen other people label people who've switched coaches a lot, because it's a thing of
It's a phrase. It's a term.
It's a phrase, and it's you're that's something you're almost assuming people would label you as and stuff. And it's but that's not the truth. What you've done always is choose yourself on when this time of your life aligns with your next step.
That's exactly why I hate that term too, because coach hopping to me, there's two people in the relationship. There's a coach and the athlete. I do not understand why that term is labeled on the coach. Like, to me, it could also be the athlete choosing something different. But instead of that, we've kind of labeled it as like, you're skipping from coach to coach to coach. And I don't know. I see it differently. Just
Not choosing yourself, choosing yourself, choosing
yeah,
yourself.
exactly. We put like this negative spin on it, and I think it's
like-
weird.
And like,
Yeah.
honestly, like let's say someone's with a coach for a very short period of
I'm giving
time.
them the opportunity to not have to coach me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that too.
I have no idea how I'm gonna spin this in my head.
Yeah, but like, let's say you're with a coach for a short period of time, and you know in your heart you're like, this is not what I thought after that consultation. This is not what I signed up for. Do you just stay with that coach for a whole year, another year, because you're worried what other people are going to think? Or do you choose yourself and be like, I know this doesn't work for me. I need to find something that does now so that I can just like put all my effort and energy into my journey.
How I don't know. My shortest one has been a year, like one prep.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't talking about our experience.
Oh,
I was
okay,
just saying
sorry.
in general, like, would you choose to stay with something you knew didn't align in your heart, or would you like move on? Like, I mean, there's a point
That's
where
hard.
like, I think as us as like experienced athletes, we kind of can tell that a little bit more versus like maybe in the beginning we're like, no, you got to give that coach the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah.
you got to like work with them for a while to see
And
how that
try.
actually works. Because you don't know how prep works. But I think at like a point, like when you've been with a coach through an entire season and multiple shows and things like that, and as an experienced athlete, you kind of know if it's aligned or you've evolved.
Something. So I probably, I don't know, maybe I've been the longest. I had a coach that I had for 6-7 years.
Never, no.
I
for
think
me. Yeah, I
three
think you're long.
was a little over 3.
So
was
I had a
the
coach for 6-7 years, and I used to kind of think like I used to kind of have the mindset of like being loyal and like, you know, and this person turned into a friend and, you know, things like that. But like the loyalty piece. And then also like kind of, I had the lens of like, well, allow them the opportunity to like, to grow me as an athlete, I'm getting experience, they're getting experience, like work together, like whatever, blah, blah, blah. But as I've gotten older, so this is where the life thing, the shifts, like things shift because as I've gotten older and I've realized like, oh, you don't get your time back. And I can't like just sit here and like
wait for them to learn.
wait and just like wait for them to figure it out or wait for them to, you know, because
Be their
we
best,
can't bodybuild
yeah.
forever. Sorry. Probably most people wrap it up, the females
Especially
wrap
women,
it
yeah.
up in their 30s.
30s somewhere. Yeah.
30s to 40s, kind of like seriously,
Yeah.
you know? And so then like, it's not, I don't know, you have to make that decision, like the choose yourself thing, the like, okay, my time is running out. You know, I've got these other life goals. And so this is a decision I have to make in order, like I have this goal with bodybuilding and this is a decision I have to make because I want to reach this goal, but I've got to bring some other people in to make it happen.
Make
Yeah.
the most of your journey.
Yeah.
Make the most of your time. Because it's like that's literally how we came up with this topic. Is like
I think-
we have to choose ourselves in that situation and not just be like, I love this coach, I love this person as a friend, but at the end of the day, is it like it's not their pro card being won. I mean, they'd be I'd love to help you with that, but you're the client, you're the athlete, you're the person paying for it, you're the person eating the food, you're the
They're
person
not
doing
living
the
my
training.
life. I'm living my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A coach, as much as they're a person, so we develop this personal relationship.
Right.
They're still like when you look at like your prep as an athlete, they're a tool, a big one and an important one.
Yeah.
But they're just a tool in your tool belt to get to your goal, even though there's a nuance to it because they're a person and you have a relationship, and it's one of the biggest, I would say, and an important one. And that's why we switched to make sure that tool is the most, the right one
Effective
working
is-
for us.
yeah.
But I think that sometimes people forget, like, it's not just the relationship that matters. It's kind of like, how is this tool helping your path?
Steph had asked, like, how did we,
Oh yeah.
the online thing,
No, don't make me repeat it. I forget.
like, how did we overcome like the
Oh,
other
yes.
people's thoughts and opinions
Yes.
and making our decision, not letting it factor into, and I want to circle back to that to then circle back to,
Connect this.
I think I was able to do it because I had practiced making some uncomfortable decisions before. And so in this recent situation, when I got that uncomfortable feeling of like, oh, but like people are going to think this, and like, oh, I'll just like not. And then that you're going back and forth, right? I then reminded myself, I talked to my husband and I had that sounding board, but then I reminded myself like, no, I've made this decision before. Not the coaching. I've made a different difficult decision before, choosing myself and that calm and that peace, and it worked out. And I'm like, it'll work out again. And so like, it doesn't matter what anyone else, you don't owe any kind of like crazy explanation. You don't owe anything to anyone. You owe it to you to make the best decision for you. And those in your like inner circle that are there to support you. And so I reminded myself how I overcame it this time was because I did get uncomfortable and I did worry, like just with now, especially having the podcast and stuff like that. I don't know. I did worry. And then I was like, wait, no, I've done it before and I can do it again. And like, yeah.
And you will be okay.
And I'll be okay. And so will everyone else watch it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Everyone's also going to just forget about it. Like, no one's going to care. And that's the other thing. No one truly like.
Yeah. I think we said that like even like, after the audience and whatever, it's like no one will care about this tomorrow.
No one.
No one.
Yeah. No one. It's not a big deal.
It's just a spotlight for a second.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable spotlight.
Yeah.
And like linking it back to what you said kind of at the beginning of this topic is like when you can show up better for yourself, you show up better for the other people around you. And so because you're so peaceful with your decision, other people are really truly happy for you. Like they really see that people are going to cheer you on when they know how happy you are and
the right people
you are.
The right people.
The right people.
Yeah.
The people who really matter.
That kind of weeds out the.
That's how I see it. Honestly, I'm like the trash just takes itself out. Like it's fine.
Trash just takes itself out. Oh my God, I love that. I'm using that. I'm stealing it.
That's funny.
Oh goodness.
But, it's like people want you to have the best and like
I think more people want you to have the best than they do. I think the negativity, it's easy to be loud and it seems like there's a lot of noise because
the
it's
initial
just
drama.
It's just exciting. People love I wish we could just make like the positivity exciting.
Yes.
Like, let's just make a different spin on that. Why not? But it's not the way the world works. And so yeah, it's just I don't know. It's
like news headings, right?
Yeah,
it's just
like the
what
news
draws people in.
Yep. So it draws people in. Yeah.
I don't know, like 100 people survive, 5 dead. They're not going to do that. They're going to put 5 dead.
5 dead.
They're not going to put 100 survive.
That's a really good example.
That's a really, really good example.
I don't know why I had to be morbid, but
I'm sorry. I thought it was like the easiest like
Easiest get the point across.
True.
Sorry. I'm always so dramatic with those.
I love it. But it's true. People like to thrive on like trying to find some sort of dramaticness out of things, but then at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, your peace is there, your confidence is there, the people that matter in your circle are happy for you, and ultimately at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. And
maybe you'll inspire someone to make a decision for themselves.
Yeah.
And that there's like
I was actually going to, oh, sorry.
no, I was
Sorry.
done.
One other thing I was going to say was I think one uncomfortable situation that most competitors go through that we didn't talk about is when you first start bodybuilding, making that transition into eating different foods, eating at different times, eating out of weird containers, like things like that. The close family and friends around you and having that conversation, usually multiple times with different people on why you're choosing it. I think we talked about it in a different episode too, but why you're choosing it is a big one. I think my most uncomfortable conversation in terms of choosing myself, and I felt like with family, I had to do it multiple times. Like they almost asked you again and again and again, at every family dinner or whatever, of why I was doing it, was with my mom because of her being in the kind of nutrition, food industry and things like that. Because it didn't truly align with what she was taught. And I think like when you're making those decisions, I felt like it was harder for me to explain to people close to me, kind of like the coach thing, but just taking it one step further, closer, I guess. With family and with friends, I found those conversations the most uncomfortable to do But I don't know how you
Yeah,
guys feel
but
about
I think the people who, at the end of the day, like when they're those close people, like, I mean, we met your mom, she was on the podcast. And like,
Right.
we're like, I mean, she has that, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, especially probably like earlier on.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, she knows, like, when you come for Christmas, like, what to expect. And she's proud of you.
Yeah,
You know, your whole
absolutely.
family's proud of you. Like, I'm traveling to Hawaii and watching you, and
Yeah.
like, you know, traveling into the States and
Yeah.
things like that, because at the end of the day, they're proud that you choose yourself. They're proud that you found something you're passionate about and that you deliver on that. Parents are proud when their child has something that they're excelling at because it makes them happy. And it's the same thing. Like,
Well,
if it's bodybuilding or if it's
not about the
soccer.
food you're eating. It's like your mom can look at you and be like, "That's my driven daughter."
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's not that, oh, she's six, like she's choosing. It's not the food. I think she can. I don't know. Maybe we're putting words into her mouth, but like
No,
she
that's
can
true.
appreciate and respect
Yes.
you and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's not about like, oh, she goes to the gym every day and she tracks all her food. It's like, you know, you. Like it's the same thing as like you became a doctor and like you're driven, you're like you're
she definitely
intelligent.
doesn't start with Bikini Pro. She definitely starts with doctor
Yeah,
still, and then she's like,
there's,
oh yeah.
there's not. She's
There's
not
also
going to
this,
put that
like-
on the professional list. It's going to go, but it's the same. Like you're showing, you're demonstrating all those same characteristics about you that like you're driven and you like to excel and you like to have goals and you go after them and you could put that to anything like in your life that you choose. And so I think probably your mom chooses to respect it in that sense of
Yeah.
like, would she do this? No.
No.
Does she agree with it? No. But she's like, but I do agree with my daughter going after her goals.
Yes,
And
I
I
swear, every show she's in the audience, and she's like, why? Right? But she's in the audience.
Yeah,
she's
she's
in
in
the
the
audience.
She supports you, and she supports that you're so committed to this and that
Yeah.
like this is something that you love.
Yes.
Um,
But, yeah.
So at the end of the day, even if people don't see what we see being crazy bikini competitors, people will appreciate when you choose yourself.
Yes.
Because that's who matters at the end of the day. And when you go to bed at night, when you close your eyes, what matters is like that you're happy in your heart and loyal to yourself.
Calm, peace. Yes.
So I hope everybody kind of, after listening to this episode, maybe kind of reflects on.
But I hope everyone has a different understanding of like what choosing yourself is. Like it's not a selfish thing; it is a positive thing, and it should be. It can be. It should be, and it doesn't need to go the negative route.
Yeah. And like just reflect which areas in your life that you are choosing yourself and maybe areas in your life that you should be choosing yourself.
Where you want to be, yeah.
Or reflect and say, are there areas where you are being selfish and you need to be a nice person?
yeah.
Yeah.
Also that.
Figure that out.
Also that.
Regardless, what you should do is just check the boxes and make your future self proud.
Yeah.
Because either way, you're gonna be old one day.
Yes, you're going to be old one day and
Yes.
grumpy and not look good in a bikini.
I don't know. I'm going to rock a bikini when I'm old. That'll be fun.
Oh my god.
We'll still be the bikini besties, just wrinkly.
Yeah, just wrinkly and
yeah.
just
Yeah.
walkers. Oh my god, little walkers.
Oh my god. Oh, that's
My God.
so funny. I want a motorized scooter.
Yeah, motorized scooter. True. Steps.
already
I'm gonna be done with
decided.
steps after 2025.
Yeah,
No more
exactly.
steps. Tracking step. Apple Watch.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, what? Walk? I'm joking.
That's fun. Well,
All right. Well,
yeah, I think that was kind of
Yeah.
what we had to share with everybody today. And hopefully, you can see our lightheartedness in a lot of it too. And
Yes.
thank you, besties.
yes. Talk to you.
We're
next time.
out. Bye.